Hello, my name is Toby Penk. I am a former professional musician, and most recently I ran data analytics for a call center for Kaplan Test Prep. So I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about data visualization. So just for framing, imagine that you run a very cool new biotech company. So you have this new technology that discovers drugs, like for the pharmaceutical industry. But at this point in the company, it's just you and maybe one other person, so you have very limited resources, and you can't just go out there and tackle everything. The program can't just sort of solve all problems all at once, but you have to really focus on, where are the best opportunities. And so you start to wonder about things like, where are the biggest revenues available? Where are the diseases that the most people suffer from? Maybe you Google revenues by disease, which feels weird thing to Google, but here you are, and you find that there's not really that much help out there for you because the data just sort of doesn't exist in a well-organized set. But you do find pharmaceutical companies do you a little bit of a favor by declaring some of their biggest drugs in their 10Ks, which are like their yearly financial filings. So after digging into these 10Ks, maybe 4, maybe 6, maybe 8 hours of just data collection, which can often be a big part of data visualization, you find that you get this really good list of different drugs. So you have the revenue for each drug, like let's say it's like Allegra for allergies. So you have the drugs, and then you have the diseases that they treat, so many drugs per disease. And then you have, for each disease, you have like a therapeutic area that it targets. So for example, if it's ovarian cancer, the therapeutic area there is oncology, just the general study of cancer. So many diseases to each therapeutic area. So you notice it's like all these different things that add up to 100% of something. So like for each drug, those add up to 100% of a given disease. And then for each disease, those different diseases add up to 100% of a therapeutic area, like all the different cancers add up to 100% of oncology. So because you know about things that add up to 100%, you think pie chart. But you don't want to make like 100 of them, so you decide, I'm going to just make one big one, and you stumble across a very cool thing called a sunburst chart. So you can see here in the center is just the basic story, all the in-market drugs, and then all the different therapeutic areas. So you can see we have oncology, and then all the different sort of diseases that fall under oncology and all the different drugs, which we'll drill into in a second. Let's say your firm has some sort of expertise in oncology and you decide to dig into this market. You might look and see, okay, we got all the different cancers, just what you'd expect, and then all the different drugs that treat them. And you might know, if you bring domain knowledge to the table, that if you can get a drug approved for oncological use in one disease, you can often get it approved for additional indications. So for example, you might have heard of Keytruda. It's often advertised on TV. It's approved for lung cancer, but in the pipeline are 6 or maybe a dozen additional indications. So that's not only a really good opportunity to save lives, but a really good just revenue opportunity for the firm. So if you have oncology expertise, this might be a road that you would go down. Now, let's take the flip side of the coin and say you don't have oncology expertise. You might come back to this chart and say, okay, oncology, maybe for someone else it's a really good area, but I don't think I have the expertise to delve into that area. Maybe you have expertise in inflammation and immunology, covering things like arthritis, asthma, psoriasis, eczema, autoimmune diseases, anything where it's an overreaction of the immune system. Now, there's a really interesting thing about this market that you can notice with the data organized this way, which is that specifically for arthritis, there's a tremendous amount of concentration in the market. In other words, Humira, one drug, controls a huge amount of this overall market. And so you start to think, if our cool new drug discovery tool can discover something really effective for arthritis or just for inflammatory disease, we could capture a really huge segment of revenue. In fact, that one drug made its parent firm $18.5 billion in 2017. So you figure, even if we don't get that entire slice, the arthritis market is $40 to $50 billion, so a slice of that is going to be really good. So I think an interesting thing about this visualization, and a cool thing about a really rich visualization, is different people with different expertise will see different things in it. So the firm with oncology expertise saw the opportunity for multiple indications, for going to market with one drug that could tackle a lot of different diseases. Whereas an inflammation and immunology team that has expertise in that area might come in and say, let's tackle arthritis because there's a really big opportunity there in terms of just market concentration. So you can come and use this visualization to draw very different conclusions depending on your expertise and your motives and your business and all that kind of stuff. So it's very cool. It's just different, rich diversity of ideas that can come from one visualization.